Shut up and sit down.
Welcome to the Bricks King podcast, where I'm going to bend your ear about LEGO, review those amazing bricks of plastic, and discuss what is new and up and coming around the LEGO world. I'm your minifig host, Matt. Let's build it. Welcome in, everybody. How are we doing today? Hopefully you are awake and not in a dream state, because today, I know, really bad segue, right? We are going to be talking about a few of the LEGO Dreamzz sets. There's so many, and they are very unique, to say the least. And here's what you need to realize. It is a cartoon. You can watch it, or animated. I always call it a cartoon. You can watch it on LEGO's YouTube channel, or you can watch it on Netflix, is where it's at as well. So this entire theme, I was privy to be able to an inside look before there was even talk of, close to release day. It was probably 2 months out. We had to sign non-disclosure agreements. We literally had to just sit back and wait and see what the presentation was going to be about. And the two main people that were in charge of this design, this idea, this creation, we had an opportunity to sit through the presentation, see all the sets that were going to be there, get an understanding of what LEGO was trying to do here. And if you watch this series, now they are 22, 23-minute episodes, so 30 minutes if you think with commercials and stuff like that. They are really pushing boundaries, and they really want kids to embrace their creativity in a different way. In the dream world is one way, and how that can be carried over into real life, everyday life, lessons that you could learn, and anyway. And there's a lot of inclusivity in the series. Now it's kind of hard to really see it in the theme, but there are definitely some things in here that really character-wise and idea-wise and discussion and trials and tribulations, there are a lot of things in here that meet everyday life for adults and kids, but especially kids growing up in a modern world where, in the case of myself, I didn't deal with that. And there were a lot of things that weren't discussed and now that are very mainstream culture. So it's really cool to be able to see how they were able to touch that without, I don't want to say offending people, but reaching it in a way that kids could understand without having the political side to it or, an adult side to it. They are able to break down and conceptualize things that are very important in modern culture. Anyway, first set we're going to talk about today is Izzy and Bunchu the Bunny. The set number is 71453, has 259 pieces, and it retails for $20. Just so you know, this entire wave is not available until August 1st. Now, you can pre-order every single one of the new sets aside from one of them, which I was not able to receive. I do believe it's a gift with purchase based on its number. I'm assuming if you reach a certain threshold, you're going to be able to get it with the rest of it. So once I find out a little bit more about that, I can share that with you. However, the other thing about this series is it takes place with a brother and sister, Izzy, and I can't remember her brother's name off the top of my head. And they are in this dream world, and there are little capsules, and we'll talk about it in the set here, and it comes with every single set. There's little capsules of, I'm not sure if this is the official name or not, but dream sand, right? Think about it like that. And there's only so much they get every night. So they don't want to waste it, but it transforms things. They can do all kinds of different things. And you can change your appearance. You can, whatever, create anything that, is in your mind. Now, the fascinating thing about it is this big mech type bunny, which is adorable, is actually created from her stuffed animal. She has a little bunny stuffed animal, a little lighter azure color here, and the bunny is so cute. The printing on it is fantastic. And it creates this creature called Bunchu. Bunchu is awesome. Now, all of these sets have different builds to them, obviously, but unique builds as well. Some of them are like a 2-in-1 or like a 2.5-in-1 or 1.5-in-1 or 3-in-1. There's a bunch of different ways that you can modify these, which is phenomenal. So this little buddy is basically made up of the azure color, two different colors here. There's a light purple. It's more like a lilac. And then you have a bunch of coral coloring as well. So the bunny itself has a ball joint for the neck. The face is a print. The mouth and the eyes and all the little dimples on it are a print. It is not a sticker, which is nice. The ears are hugely brick built. They are on tiny little ball joints here. And then you have some antennas that are here in top of the head. It's a cute little head. Pretty neat. As you get down to the body, the shoulders are on ball joints as well. The wrists, they spin, well, the hand spins 360 degrees, but it doesn't flex out or anything like that. You can get it in a kind of unique pose and stuff like that. The hands, they kind of remind me of almost like boxing mitts, as big as they are. So it's kind of funky looking. In the center of this thing, and you're going to see this throughout the wave, there is a 2x2 rounded tile that has the hourglass on it, which holds the sleep sand, dream sand, and that is in the center of the chest here. So the tail, another little ball joint made up of a bunch of coral pieces, really cute looking, shows a lot of fluff. It almost reminded me of cotton candy, which now I'm hungry for some cotton candy. The joints at the legs, they can rotate forward and backward, or they can splay out. You could actually get this thing in a full split if you want to. Those of you that are gymnastically abled, I am not. Anyway, moving down at the knees are this new piece. Well, part of it, the upper thigh, is this new piece, and I had taken a picture of it and I put it on social media. It's really weird. I'm curious to see what else this is going to be able to do in the future. However, that can spin where the knees are. The knees do not bend. And then just below that at the ankle, you have a ball joint. And obviously you can spin your feet as crazily as you want. Big old bunny feet here. Again, kind of remind me of some cotton candy. Now, there are no rubber grommets on the foot on the underside. Sometimes we see that. Not there. However, there are some spots here inside of this brick that you may be able to. I don't know if I have any on hand. I'll have to find some and try it, but it looks as if you could probably squeeze those in there, potentially. So you have your big bunny, Bunchu. You have your little bunny, stuffed animal. And then we move on to the minifigs and stuff like that. Okay, let me back up. So you can transform Bunchu into a few different things. You can put Bunchu on rocket skates, which are roller skates that have this new kind of feathered dual molded piece. These are in the yellow, the trans yellow, and it's like the flamish orange color to be more solid. They are a little bit softer. They are not that super soft plastic though, so keep that in mind. But you can put some rocket skates on Bunchu, or you can set it up and you can put wings on the back of it. It is completely up to you. And that is the really nice thing about this stuff, is you don't just have to do one thing or the other. You can, as you get into the dream world, you can change this stuff. So now we move on to Izzy. This is Izzy's dream form character, minifig. She's got a very beautifully opalescence colored hair. I love this hairpiece. That is really cool. The dual molded sword that she has, it's pretty nice. It's some blue around the edges of it. Her lilac shoulder pads are okay. And then pauldrons, whatever you want to call them. And then her printing is pretty good. I mean, there's a lot of color here. She's got some boots that she's wearing, actually look like boots on there, because it is dual molded, but it is also printed on there, which is gorgeous in the way that is done. But she's kind of wearing this like sling type armor-ish vest kind of thing. It's weird. And then she has the hourglass symbol on her belt buckle as well. She has two faces, one where she's smiling and she's very rosy cheeked and, glitter. She loves glitter, by the way. You'll find that out. And she has a smiling face as well. And then, of course, this comes with the sand. And then there is a 1x1 round tile on the top of all of them that has that hourglass shape or printing on it. Now, the only bummer is you have to put these on top of their hands, because you cannot get their hand around what looks like a center bar. And I'm I shouldn't say irritated by it. It is a little frustrating, though, that you can't get in there and do that. Now we got to get to the bad guys. And this isn't even the bad guy. These are minions of the bad guy. He's got a bunch of these guys that he's employed. Now, this is a brand new type of body I've never seen before. Now, the arms of this thing are super tiny, skinny, weird body. But under the arms, where you would think of like your armpit, you can fit in a bar of any kind. And in this case, he is carrying a net to be able to catch Bunny or Bunchu, or, well, you ain't not going to catch Bunchu in that. Anyway, so he's got this big black, scary kind of crusader helmet, we'll say, with a little feathery flame piece sticking out the top. And he's got a kind of a scary look on his face. I really like those. Some of them are rehashed, but a lot of them are different prints, different ideas that can come with them. So it's a lot of fun. Alrighty. Next up, we have to talk about Mateo, who is the brother. I knew I would remember it at some point once I saw it. And Z-Blob the robot. Z-Blob is kind of their little buddy that they have made friends with from the dream world. It's actually really cute, and I'm not going to spoil it, but Z-Blob does something incredible that they didn't know that they could do on the last episode 10 of season 1. So go check it out if you have not. This thing has 237 pieces, 71454, and it retails for $20. So some smaller stuff at a $20 price point, which is a great thing. So this is kind of in that same mech style, and they are pretty much identical, the same size, except Bunchu has the big giant ears that stick up. So this guy has a lot of that trans kind of lighter green, really, really good color here. So his head here is printed eyes, and it's in that trans color. It looks like what they used in Beauty and the Beast over top of the rose on the, I think was it the villains icons? Yeah, the Disney villains icons. Yeah. Anyway, so they have that here. He's made up of white and that trans green, basically, that light green. So on his chest, he's got a big bulking chest, by the way, but on his chest it says Blob on it on one side, the stickers, and on the other one it has that icon again for the hourglass. Now he's got that new piece that I talked about. He's got that new piece here at the shoulder joint and at the hip joint. They connect to some trans green again. So shoulders can go forward, backward, in and out. There's also this crazy looking double tile shooter that sticks out over his left shoulder. His waist can actually articulate 360 degrees around just because it's on a Technic pin. Legs, again, at the shoulder joints, the hip joints splay out, rotate, however you want. The wrists are really nice. They rotate around completely. And he does have 3 fingers, but he has a spot for something to receive a pin. He's got a receiving pin hole. He also comes with this giant weapon. Again, that kind of newish feathery piece here, but in that trans green and then a solid green on the inside of it. And he's got this canister. It looks like slime. And he's got this canister that goes on the bottom of that. It comes with another one as well if you want to use it. And then it's got this sight-looking thing that has a trans green bar that goes through it. So again, this is pinned into his hand, but you can get him in some cute little poses. And Blob is a super tiny blob. So if you take his head off, that is your Blob right there. That is what he is. He's not this big giant mech guy. So down just below the knees at kind of, it's like a high ankle joint. Like if you were to wear like hiking boots, it'd be at the top of the boot. It's kind of funky. But he's got these big old feet that they have here and a giant ball joint down here to get some wild movement. Now he does come with a bunch of other stuff to be able to transform him. He can be transformed into a flying guy with a jetpack. Now, when I say transform, you have to remove a few things. Most of these come with extra pieces, especially at the smaller price point. And you have to remove some things attach the other pieces with some of those things. Some things you just take off completely, and then it transforms into whatever here. So alternative transformations, pretty cool, interesting, unique. And then Mateo. Mateo's got this wand that he carries around. He's also got his dream sand here. So our two minifigs, we have Mateo. And so Mateo has this hairpiece that is unique because it's got some little green, it almost looks like glitter that is kind of painted on here, printed on there. And then he's got two faces, a smiling and a kind of an irritated, pissed off face on the other side. And the unique thing about his face is his eye. So his eye has that same kind of greenish color that is going over it. And the funny thing about it is when I started building these, I hadn't seen the series. And I was telling myself, I'm like, okay, what is it? Because it looks like one of my dogs that has a cataract. I'm like, okay, is this, differently abled? Is that kind of where we're going with this? No, because again, you can change your form, and that's what he had done. And it just turned out that way. So he's got dual molded feet, red boots that he is wearing with the gunmetal gray of the rest of the legs. He wears this little utility belt, which we've seen with the Batman stuff in the past. And he basically wears it when he leaves the house, and it just comes along with him. But he's wearing his dual colored shirt here that he's got going on. He's got blue on one side, and then he's got that lighter azure color as well. And then he comes with this little wand. And like I had mentioned, then the other minifig that we have in here is, I believe it's Jaden. Yeah, it's Jaden. And Jaden is a schoolmate. And Jaden, in this case, is trapped by this little four-legged spidery creature that has a bed on it, has some claws that reach around to get this little kid. It's kind of funny looking. And then he's got printed eyes that are unique to this theme. So his little printing, I love his PJs. Who doesn't love unicorns? I mean, unicorns are awesome. That's a reference to multiple things, but most recently to Paul Hetherington. If you guys haven't caught that interview yet, you need to go listen to that one. Anyway, so he has a sleepy face where he's actually out cold. And then he has another one where he's awake. He has some sort of sleeping device that goes from his mouth up through the side of his face. Initially, I thought, are those whiskers? No, he's not in the dream world like that. But he does have the unicorn printing on his top, and then the rest of him is purple. Cool little set. I like it. I love the mech with Blob. I love the coloring of it with the white and the trans green. It's so cool. Big fan of that one. So moving along. Oh, before we do the next one, I did forget to mention there is, with these two sets, you have your sticker sheet, and then there's also a set of secondary stickers on the sheet with different little things that you can put on. I think it's the first two. But some of these sets have these sticker sheets that come with them so that you can add these other tiny, tiny little stickers on. They're like the size of a 1x1 tile, round tile. And some of them are a little bit bigger, but you can put them and customize. And that's the great thing about it. And the cool thing about it is if you're like, you know what, I've ripped them off and I don't have any more. All you got to do is put in a request to LEGO and they'll send you new stickers, which is always a cool thing. I know you want to hear more. I know you want to step into this weird dreamscape because it's awesome, but we've got to take a break for a dream. We'll be right back. Alrighty. So the next one here, we have Grim Keeper, the Cage Monster. And you can imagine what he has. He's a cage monster. Does anybody there? Anybody getting this? Yes, he's got a cage in his gut. So we'll talk about that here in a minute. Anyway, 71455 is the set number, has 274 pieces and retails for $38. I know, weird, right? $37.99, that's kind of funky. Anyway, so here's what you get. You get a couple minifigs. You don't get any of those little scary guys, unfortunately, because they're awesome. But you do get two minifigs. We get Mateo, again, same printing, same idea that's going on there. He's got his little poker type crazy wand that's going on. He's got his sand jar again, his little capsule. And Blob has this little flyer that has 2 stud shooters on it. It's got a little 1x2 little slope back here that has some printing on it, I believe. Yes, it's printing. And just has some gauges and stuff. And Mateo can actually stand or sit on the back of it. So that's kind of neat in its own right. Then we have this new kid, Cooper, another schoolmate. And Cooper, you will see, I'm not going to spoil it in case you have not seen it, but Cooper enters into a version of the dream world, I guess you could say. And things get kind of crazy. I mean, he's in the dream world, but things get kind of crazy, and you'll see later in the series. Anyway, so he has a sleep face on one side and an angry face on the other, and he's got this blonde, very bright blonde hairstyle that is going on. And he's got dark blue legs. He's got this red top, his jacket, and some patterning on there. Now, the main focal point here is your big, scary Grim Keeper. You see this thing throughout the series in different episodes. Usually you see them from afar before they come closer. Little bit of a bigger mech than the other 2, mech style, than those other 2 characters that we just discussed. So where to begin? You know what? Let's just start with this weird looking head. So this head is on a big old ball joint here. It's got some wispy swirled pieces. They're actually kind of thick that come off of the back of the head. The jaw can open not very well. When I say jaw, it looks like his lower lip. So if you were to take like your lower lip and pull it down, just like this, that's essentially what you're getting with his teeth here. So that happens. His face, this little domed piece that they have here, it's printed. His eyes look great, just like they do in the cartoon. It's perfect. He's got these big magenta spikes that stick up just to the rear of his head. The same headpiece is used here on the shoulders for the pauldrons, except this is in that silvery gunmetal gray color. New piece, yet again, used here. Same thing at the shoulder and the hips. Does the same exact thing, although spinning it backward and forward a little bit different because of the pauldrons there, although you can move those out of the way and get it completely around if you so choose. The wrists spin yet again. 2 claws on the top of his hand, 1 on the bottom, and then there is a clip right there to receive a bar, a weapon of something, whatever you want to put in there. The other hand, same thing, same idea, same exact make, same exact build, except in this case, he's carrying this kind of flying little scary bat-looking lantern guy that has the 1x1 eye tile and these translucent, I guess, magenta, pinkish colored wings. And he's holding it like it's a lantern. It's incredibly cool. I love it. So then we get to the body of this guy, and we have a door, a prison gate door here with the lock tile on the front of it, and just a spot in here for your minifig to stand in. No studs attached. It just sits in there. You close the door. Super duper simple. Then we get down to the legs. Again, same thing as the the shoulders. Exact same thing that we've seen with the last 2. Then we get down here, ankles, big ball joints, big old feet with a claw on the back and 2 bigger claws on the front. Kind of a scary guy. The nice thing about this is whether you have a minifig on the inside or not, you can jerk this thing around like you can pretend he's flying or whatever, because again, it's Dream World. You can do whatever you want. So good ability. I can get my giant. I say giant. We all know I have little girl hands, and I don't mean that as a slight to anybody. I just have tiny hands. And then you can get your hand around his torso and stuff and be able to move that thing all over the place and do whatever you want. You can get him into a pretty cool running pose. I've had some fun with it. I'm not a great photographer. I have no desire to really do photography just because I can't ever get the image that I'm looking for the way I want it. And doing it on an iPhone is usually not the best. So it's a pretty cool little set. I totally forgot. You can adjust the flyer just ever so slightly. Nothing really wild that you can do to it, but you can change it up just a little bit. Let's say that. Then the set. Yes, the set. I like it. I think it's pretty unique. I love the look of the bad guy. And again, there's something to be said for some of the bad guys in any wave of any theme. I really like this one. It turned out really cool looking, and I just wish there was something else, because to me, the $38 justification is not here. The other two at $20, yes, you have it. The only thing I could think of is, his head piece, his shoulder pieces, maybe, but it still seems rather high for me, honestly. I just, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it. I know how I feel about it. I think it's entirely too expensive. Anyway, let's move on to the next one. So Mrs. Castillo's Turtle Van. Sounds like something from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles if there was like a part 4 or something like that. And it kind of looks like that to a certain degree. Definitely looks like a turtle van. Definitely some Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles vibes here, especially like the cartoon series from the original 80s. Anyway, so this thing is 71456. It has 434 pieces. It retails for $47.99, $48 here. Bunch of different things that you can do with this one. Now, the van build of this thing prior to morphing it and changing it into a crawling turtle has a lot of really cool design to it. Just a really neat looking van. It reminds me of something that you would see back in like the 60s, like far out, dude. Just, I don't know. There was something about it. It's about as wide as the Speed Champions vehicles. Same idea that they're kind of going with here. And it's just kind of a shorter van. I'm a big fan of it. I am an absolute fan of the way this thing looks. So let's talk about the normal van idea here. The van has sand green along the entire bottom of this. You're going to hear some things clanking here, and there is a carrot that is on a chain that just keeps hitting the windshield and other parts of it on the side and stuff. So if you hear the clanking, that's what the clanking is. So we have this van in the front. It has that tile again, that 2x2 round for the sand sleep dust. Some lights up front, nice grill usage pieces. Even has windshield wipers, believe it or not. Two windshields that are side by side here. The 4 wide windshields there, 2x4 wide. Okay, just a little bit different. A lot of room in here. You can get 2 minifigs to sit in here. Technically, you could almost get another one, depending on how you moved arms and stuff like that, but their butt would be hanging off of where they were sitting. The top part of this is all white. You do have some stickers on the front and the rear on the top of the roof that are for turtleage to let you know, hey, it is supposed to be a turtle. The roof comes off down inside, steering wheel, spot for your minifigs to sit, a bunch of open space inside. You can stand minifigs and stuff like that. There's a crystal in here. There's a mushroom in here. There's something else that's in the trans dark blue here. There is a sticker inside of here that says Dreamcraft Builds. It has a fish. It has a few other things here, different elements that you can turn into Dreamcraft Builds, do whatever you want. It has a little pair of doors, like little window doors that open here, and that's window frame, and they're in that dewy, my God, I love this color, that cool light green, whatever the heck it is. My God, I just love it. Anyway, on the outside of this thing, there's another sticker here that says Dreamcraft Items, and same idea. Here's what you have, here's what you can do. And then just to the outside of that, after you try and turn this thing into a dream machine, you clip on this thing. It's got a sword here. It's got a trans flame piece here. It's got I guess you could say like a poking type arrow, a spear that they have going on here. And then they have a fish here as well. Around the back has the license plate. It says FC, and then of course it has the set number. On the other side, we have a turtle sticker. So now we get into the weird funkiness and all kinds of different cool, good idea stuff. So you can transform this thing. You can turn it into a turtle. Now, most of this stuff is already prepared ahead of time. Like in the build, things are already prepared ahead of time for you to be able to go in and just attach a head, plug on the legs, maybe move 1 or 2 things, but not entirely tons of stuff that have to be moved. This build, especially so far, really gave me nostalgia vibes for the elves theme because they had a turtle in there. Very much so. I love this thing. So you plug in the turtles, the turtle head here, that same piece that we talked about on the last set for the face, the head, we use it here. Beautiful printed eyes and some patches for the turtle's head. Then we throw on turtle feet that go, turtle legs and feet. The feet can just swivel. They cannot, or I should say they can rotate 360 degrees. They don't swivel. Anyway, and then those just simply Technic axle into the vehicle wheels. It's crazy. It's wild, right? I know. So you put those 4 on. You can add a flame to the top. On the top of the van, it says Tortuga's Dream Craft Shop. That's a sticker, by the way. There's a carrot that is up here on a bar. I'm assuming that's used as motivation. I can't remember seeing the turtle in there, but I went through kind of quick to be able to watch all 10. We have a chest up here on the top as well. Has some more dream crafting stuff. It's got a big old pretty palm tree up here with the elements we first saw in the Lord of the Rings Rivendell set. There is a big kind of big bathtub that is basically up here. This kind of barrel that you could put apples in. We've seen it used on the ships, like in the bird's nest, crow's nest, or whatever. And then we have this big kind of cactusy looking build, which is so funny. It reminds me of Blob, but it's not. I cannot remember what it was. So anyway, it's just kind of cute. It's unique. So then that is that, right? You can put the roof back onto this thing, and there is another transformation that can happen. Move this thing out of the way here. I want to talk about some of the minifigs. So we have Z-Blob. Okay, we've talked about Blob before, Z-Blob. In this wave, or this set, he comes with a piece of trans green that is over his head. He is using that weird little body. And that minifig head, it just has 2 eyes. He doesn't have a mouth or anything like that. So you put this thing over top of him because that is his slime on his head and stuff like that. Doesn't really have anything. He's just a cute little dude. I love him. Then we have Grim Spawn here. Same idea as the other little bad guy. The little tiny, little shrunken bad guy. Same exact thing there. Then Mateo. Mateo here. Same printing as before. Same exact printing as before. Comes with that little bar weapon, if that's what you want to call it. But in this set, he comes with a little backpack. It's kind of cute looking. I like the way that is done. Face prints are the exact same. Then we get into Zoe. Zoe is a new character. If you've seen the series, you know what? On the maybe later on the next episode, we can break down who some of these are, so you have a chance to at least dig into a few of them. Anyway, so Zoe's here. Zoe's got her sand, her dream sand here. She's got a purple bow and arrow with the quiver on her back. She's got a hair piece that hangs to the side in that purple, kind of laid over across the top. She has a smiling face and an intense looking face that says, yeah, let's throw some hate. I love the printing on the front of her body. Again, same idea there with the transformation in the dream. You can do whatever you want. Some good printing right there. Then we have to get to Mrs. Castillo. I love Mrs. Castillo. She's freaking adorable. I love this woman. She's just funny and it's just great. So she does have a dual molded piece here. This is new. So the dual molded is her body molded with the backpack, and then her arms come on after the fact. Think of like the Mario fig arms that you have to put on. That's what those are in the yellow here. She comes with her little dream power wand that she's got, and then you have a few pieces that you add on for her backpack. I love the printing on her, by the way. Her jewelry and stuff and whatever her little clothing thing is supposed to be. Her eyes are closed. She's got that really old white hair piece going on. Very old, wise lady here. Anyway, so she has glasses on and she's really smiling in the one face, and the other one, she's just kind of almost like content. I love this set. I think it is so cool. It is just, I love the idea, again, of just changing things and making them modular and just being able to have a lot of fun and stuff like that. So then one of the other ways that you can do it, and I wasn't a big fan of this, I went back and just left it as the turtle. You can change a few different things here and you can make your turtle fly. Got to rearrange a few things, not the end of the world. And again, like I said, you have to remove some things and then you add some things and then you're done. My suggestion to you as a parent, if you are a parent and you are looking into this wave coming August, my suggestion is that you get a bag of some kind, like just a Ziploc bag, so that you can keep the other pieces in case, right? You could always throw them in the Lego bin and stuff like that. But if your child or whatever, is like, oh, I want to do this and then I want to do that. Some of these in this wave, the first two and then this one, have a lot of extra pieces, especially the bus. So make sure you keep them around. Well, even the last one with Z-Blob's little flyer, make sure they're not extra. Don't throw them away. They are not extras. So just keep that in mind. Might be a good idea to set a spot aside for those extra pieces so that you can transform it after you play with it so long. Okay, you want to come back and you want to change it. And they're like, oh, I can't find these pieces now. So we're going to stop there for today. We have a number of them left. I believe we have 5 left. We've got some really big hitters to get to. So if you've enjoyed these, stick around. We've got more to chat about. There are more Chicago Brick World Chicago interviews. I always say backwards every single time. There are more that are coming. So that'll wrap it up. Until we meet again, I'm your minifig host, Matt. Let's build on it.